Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBindGuide.com. Today I am taking a look at the New Thomas Nelson, New King James Classic Verse by Verse Center Column Reference Bible. And these are in imitation leather. It's available in brown and black, with and without thumb index. Both of mine have a brown and a black, and they both do not have thumb index. So let's take a look. They both have a little bit of a grain, but not a lot, just a little bit. More color texture than anything else, especially in the brown. Brown has a little bit of darker tones and shades in there. They both have perimeter stitching, paste down liner, and brown in both of them, same color, same liner. The liner itself also acts as the presentation page. And then on the front we have Holy Bible, and these are stamped in. And then the spines have an elegant little design there. Holy Bible, NKJV, and then the Thomas Nelson logo. And then we have little indications of the spine ribs. They're not raised, but they do have some little indentions there, and then some markings. It's an interesting pattern. I like that. Both have two ribbons. The brown has a brown and a red, and the black has a black and a red. Interesting little design. A little bit of texture. I do like the look of that imitation leather. They call it leather soft. It is an imitation leather. Now internally they both look identical. So let's just pick one and look. So we have a thick paper. I'm not sure of the GSM. I'm going to guess that's 36. Feels like 36 to my fingers. They're made in China. Highly opaque paper. 2-color printing. So we have this nice red highlight all the way through. Dark font. This is the Comfort Print font designed by 2K Denmark. And then we get into our Bible. So we have each book has an introduction, a couple of paragraphs, and it covers, the writer a little bit about the setting, maybe some main characters and main events, and then some keywords, and then a little bit of an outline. And then that's separated by the text by a decorative line, and then we get into a verse-by-verse text. Now the text itself is a 10-point font with about 7 to 8 words per line, and red verse numbers, red chapter numbers, red section headings, and then red verse and chapter numbers for the pilot number in the center column reference. 72,000 center column references. Now, if they're too many to fit here, then they appear here at the bottom. Across the top, we have the book name, chapter number, verse number in red, and then just a black number for the page in the center. Smythe sewn. This one does not have overcast stitching. This Bible is also available in a Premier collection, and it does have overcast stitching, which I actually did not show in the video. But I do more detail in the written reviews. There's always something I forget when I'm just talking. So we have a poetic setting. Poetry is really nice in this, even though it's only 7 to 8 words per line. Poetry breaks in phrases, in good places and phrases, so they actually work really well. You won't have this line going all the way to the end and then having one word all the way to the end and one word. It doesn't work that way. It breaks in phrases, and it works better. This is a well-designed layout for poetry. It also has indented letters. So if we go somewhere with a letter, let's just find us a letter here. There are a few somewhere around in here. There's a letter. So if we have a letter, it indents. You can tell quickly if that's a letter. like the way they handle this. There's a letter. They're handled well. This is also a red letter edition. There's a letter. And the red is the same color as the highlights. That's a nice red. Not overly dark, which I do prefer a darker red, but this is still a nice red. Really nice. This is in my range, my personal taste. This is in my range of nice. I do prefer, if I would talk about my preferences, I do prefer a little bit, just a little bit darker. This one looks a little bolder. That could be where they start a new paragraph. It's just a little bit though, a little bit larger, a little bit bolder. I'm not sure if that's the start of any paragraph. That does seem to be just a little bit larger and bolder there. Now this is a true 10-point font. The previous editions of the Comfort print, they did mark them a little bit larger than what they actually looked to my eye. So something marked a 9 would actually look more like an 8. This is actually a 10-point. I have no problem at all calling this a 10-point. Then in the back, this is highly consistent all the way through. I like this paper too. Really good paper. Easy to grab and turn. Highly opaque. Just a touch of a rough texture, but that's easy to grab and turn. White in color. No trouble turning that paper at all. No problems using this. And then we have our concordance. Really nice concordance. It's kind of a topical concordance in a way, because it provides some information about people. Like it'll tell you a little bit about who they are or something like that. But it does include people, places, which is always nice. I like a concordance that does it. This is a large concordance. 160 something pages. Then we get into our maps. Well, let's look how many pages our concordance is. Turn 2 pages and then you're in John. Alright, let's see. 3rd John anyway. So there's our concordance. Pretty good size concordance. And then the maps are the Zondervan maps on thick paper. Nice colors. I like these colors. They're annotated, but not they don't have an index to maps. They do cover locations, of course, distance, routes, elevation, battle sites. And then take another look at the brown. The brown is really nice. I like both of these. They're really nice. These are a good alternative to the Premier Collection edition, which has the same layout exactly. So if you just want something to use and you're not worried about how long it would last, then this imitation leather is a good choice. Let's weigh them and measure them. Let's grab one. They come in at 6 and, let's see, right at 6.5 by 9.5. It's hard to see this thing. By 1.5. And we shall weigh. My new little fancy scale. 2 pounds, 9.7 ounces. 2 pounds, 9.7 ounces. And for comparison, let's take a look at the Premier Collection version of the same Bible, just to see how they compare. Of course, the Premier Collection is quite a bit pricier. Let's see, let's see if it tells us our manufacturer's suggested retail price, $189.99 for that one, and $50 $9.99 for these, for those. So quite a bit of difference in price, but for that you do get goat skin. So this is goat skin edge lined with European paper, and so we're looking at a big price difference there, and then 3 ribbons. And then the paper on these, let's get this box out of the way. Too many things here. So the paper on these is very close, really similar. So they're exactly the same. So let's go to page 501. So identical, exact same layout. The difference is the paper. It's really hard to tell the difference though. This one you're going to have art gilt edges, whereas the imitation you're going to have gold. The paper is in the Premier collection is European. I'm not sure where the paper from the imitation leather are from, but it's really good paper. I find this paper to be a little smoother than this one. Just barely. Just barely. If you hold it up to the light, you sort of have an idea of quality, but it's hard to tell between the two. The opacity is very similar. I like both. I like both of these. So, yeah, they're really good. Let's take a look at one more Bible. And this is the Preaching Bible. And the reason I'm comparing that one, of course, is that they're both verse by verse. The main difference between the two being the paper in the Preaching Bible is wider. They're very similar in texture. Almost exactly the same in texture. I can't tell which is thicker. This one almost feels thicker. The Preaching Bible does. Almost. That just could be my imagination. So let's say, let's look at the same verse. Isaiah 54. There's 56. And here is 56. So we have red highlights versus blue highlights, and then we have center column reference versus footer references. And that's really the main difference. And then between the two, you're going to get a slightly larger font in the Preaching Bible. You're going to get a wider column width because you don't have to share space with the references. Same references. They both look nice. I like them both. Everything else is the same as far as same section headings. The advantage in the verse by verse is that you have concordance and then you have maps, while the Preaching Bible doesn't include anything like that. Nothing in the back here. And of course the Preaching Bible is edge lined. This is calfskin. And then there's the thickness there. That's how they look. Throw one more in there. So I will place links in the footer, in the notes, where you can make a purchase or you can go see and take a look and all that. You can see more detail about these on BibleBuyingGuide.com. And I did receive these in exchange for an honest review. Honest reviews are always guaranteed. If you have any questions, let me know. And thanks for watching.